Good evening and welcome along to another one of our Dundee United tales. We are back for episode 14 today and we have got a couple of big games in the offing. The reason for that is we've got a double header against the Hungarians at Ferencváros in the Europa League group stages. We've got Motherwell and Aberdeen back-to-back away games in the Premiership and in Hamilton in the semi-final of the Scottish League Cup. What that does mean is we've got a game every 3 days essentially. So it's going to be a good test for the squad. We've of course got a few of the Luton players in there from the real life squad who will be taking part in the QPR game at 7 o'clock. So we'll make sure we're done for that. I am debuting the Luton Town shirt, so I hope you're enjoying that as well. Although unfortunately the Christmas diet has made it a little more snug than hoped. Thank you to everyone coming along. I hope you're enjoying this evening. I hope you're looking forward to the football. And I hope you're all keeping well. Leon, good evening. Thank you for popping in. I am well, but it will partly depend on the Luton result later. Carl, long throw expert for Dundee United yet? Absolutely not. Not after today's head coach. You've probably seen by the title. If you haven't seen it yet, then please do go and check it out. Charlie, are you going to be taking your team on a mid-season break to Dubai? I'm not getting involved in that, other than to say that we know it wasn't the brightest idea from the start. Craig, is that you in a football shirt? Yes, it is the Luton away shirt of this season. It's the first football kit in years from my club that I've loved, so we got it. It's a nice position to be in now. But thank you to everyone joining along this evening. Lovely to have you in as always. Hopefully we'll be able to crack on and get good results here, because with Luton kicking off at 7 o'clock, if we're not finished in time, we'll be finishing early regardless. So let's go and have a look at the recent results, because we played 2 games off camera. And they went bizarrely. They really did. The Rangers one, we thought we were going to get battered. We rested quite a few players. If you have a look at the lineup, Chris Mockery, Kai Fotheringham, Lewis Nielsen, 3 of the youngsters, they started. Carlton Morris are back up. Chalmers are back up. Again, a superstar this time. Ray Bolton. I mean, it was a full backup 11. Fuchs possibly first choice and Siegrist the keeper. That's it. So I really don't know how we won it 2-0. Chalmers with a brace. And then a 3-2 win. I should just say in that Rangers game, we did the time wasting from the start. It just worked a treat. But then a Mark McNulty hat-trick against Ayr, put us 3-0 up with 80 minutes gone. But it still managed to be a grandstand finish. Luca Cannell with 1, Liam Burt with the other. And I've got to say, Ayr are doing so well given the squad they've got. They didn't even have Darren Watson in that game, who's on loan from us and the top scorer in the league. Although McNulty might have nicked that now. Still no goals for Shankland, still no success for him. But we've got a trip to Hungary this evening. So let's go and pick our squad for that one. Thank you to everyone that's popped in this evening. If you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. I do appreciate you popping in. Ravenite, hello, thank you for popping in. I hope you're going well. I'm aware I might lose some of the Dundee United fans at 6:30 tonight, as they've got a game at that point as well. Carl, I've seen it, yes. If you need a 6'7" defender or striker standing on a keeper. I don't know what our tallest players are like, actually. I'll have to have a look. But obviously I can't sign the players in that series. Leon, what did you think of the FA Cup draw? All I can say is trust Luton to draw United and Chelsea in the 2 cups, the one season we can't go and watch. But generally, a good draw. Better than... The 3rd and 4th round have both been better than previous years, actually. It's just a shame there's no fans for this season. Craig, especially Crouchy impersonating Rod Stewart. He wasn't far off, was he? He's just a laugh, isn't he? It's good to have a bit of character and personality. But I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the draw as well. But yeah, I could have done with a trip to Stamford Bridge. It is a bit of a shame. But let's get the opposition instructions on. We've got the lineup that we had playing against Ayr at the weekend. And it's about whether we make changes here. So Siegrist is back. Finley's back. So we'll get both of those in straight away. What's the other one they were suggesting? Bolton for Duffy. Well, Duffy's played well the last 2 games. He's finally found a bit of form, so I'm not going to take him out. We'll replace the youngster Nielsen with Matty Pearson. We will replace Carlton Morris onto the bench for... Who's there? We've got to have a striker on there. I don't know who to take off. It's going to be Mockery, I think, the other youngster. But his 3-star ability nearly. We've got to keep an eye on him because he's doing really well. I mentioned it in one of the upcoming head coach videos. In the Bangor City save, he's at Chelsea worth 25 million. So he's some talent, that kid. Of course, in the head coach, Finn Malcolm's smashing up the Scottish Premier League. They're better players than they look. We've got bids in to extend the loans of Mitchell and Mengi till the end of the season. But for now, we're going first choice. We want to try and get through in Europe. And that's the 11 we're going for. 2 changes from the weekend. That slip up at air, or nearly slip up at air. And hopefully we'll be alright from it. Charlie, fireworks at Stockport. Yeah, the intentions were right. It's a lovely cause they did it for. I just worry about how many people were gathered to do it. But hopefully there won't be any repercussions. Leon, same for us at Doncaster even. Jeez, I'm all over the place. Away at West Ham, then if we did cause the upset, we'll be at Anfield or Old Trafford. It's a shame, isn't it? You can't do that, Craig. I know you're just trying to rile Charlie up, but the pitch at Stockport was a leveller, and in the end, West Ham's tactics were actually sensible. When the second half, when the pitch was worst, it was a disadvantage to them because of the half and the areas it was like that. But it is what it is. Thank you to everyone popping in. Please chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't yet. Come and say hello, get involved in the chat, and we'll see how we go. Hopefully, but it looks like we're losing our best player and captain to Preston. Who's that you're losing? I've seen they've been going transfers galore at Preston, haven't they? So hopefully it's not too many they take. They've already signed Evans, haven't they? And they've signed Malumbi, they got. So there's a few going on. But you never know. Oh, I've just seen Jackson Irvine signed for Hibs. He's someone we tried to sign at the start of this save, but he wanted too much money. And now he's gone to our head coach club, Hibernian. Who would have thought it, eh? Some very bizarre goings on around here. But thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with me, even. I apologies in advance for the fact that I can't get a sentence out this evening. Hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference. Ben Whiteman, yeah, I had heard about that one. Stockport showed why they'll be up there this year. Couldn't agree more. Carl, we've got a new left-back from Luton via Sheffield United. The less said about that, the better. The Stockport fans will obviously be upset. And the Bolton fans, will be upset because it means we've nicked Kioso back off of them. And he was flying for them. Carl, we've got Oh, Craig, give me the team updates. The team news at around 6, yeah. Sean Clare to Burton on loan from Oxford. There's a lot going on, isn't there? It's an interesting one. But let's go and get into this first game of the evening, because the quicker we do that, the quicker we'll be ready for the end of the evening when we need to go for the Luton game. So, the first 11 is out. We need a Shankland goal so badly. I'm going to pump the fist. We're going to get them up for it. A couple motivated. Shankland, one of them. And there you go. They're talking about it in the media. He's not scored for ages. It's going to be difficult. I'm not sure what this side's like. There's not many players we recognise. But they've got a greyed out team, which is very highly rated. As Mitchell takes a throw on the left to McNulty. Chance to get it in early. Tries to find the back post runner Shankland. But it's back out to Mallon, who finds Duffy. Of course, we're now managing Mallon in 2 saves. For the first time this year that's happened, I think. As O'Reilly gets it wide to Matheson. Chance to get the cross in, but goes back to Duffy. To O'Reilly. Switches to Sporrell, to Mitchell. Where's the cross coming? We're keeping the eye out for it. O'Reilly's through ball. That's beautiful. McNulty's in. It deflects away. It falls for Duffy. And here's his tipped over the bar. Probably had to score that in truth. But we got there. Roughly 2 million for Whiteman, rising to 4. Yeah, it's too good for League One, isn't it? We had the same with when we came up to the Championship. Jack Stacey went to Bournemouth for 4 million. James Justin to Leicester for 6 to 8. And you can't turn them fees down when you're that size of club. Craig Carl's not happy about that. Yeah, he's a quality player. It's going to be a great signing. Definitely the upgrade you needed for James McLean at left wing back. As Duffy picks it up on the right wing. And Norrington Davis probably be starting out as left wing back for Wales in the summer if he's fit. As Matheson gets to the byline, crosses to McNulty. And he's headed over the bar as well. It's going to be a long old evening if we keep missing chances like that. But we're not doing too badly so far. Apparently Doncaster are wanting to replace him with Sheehan from Newport. Yeah, he's a good player. Really good player, Josh Sheehan. Well, hopefully for your sake you can get him. He was a youngster at Swansea, wasn't he, before? But he's a good footballer. But Newport are right up there in the League 2 battles. So again, Doncaster will have to pay over the odds to get him. And that's where the difference is at this stage. As we give it away here in our own half. It's up to the centre forward on the edge of the box. Good block by Mengi. Back to Galax again. To Giepes. Oh, that's a great goal. And again, after having the better of a game, we give away a goal from a chance. If Shankland was on fire and taking his chances, we'd be winning these games comfortably. As it stands, though, it's going to be another one of those frustrating evenings. I think we're going to go out the Europa League. My problem at this point is we're not going to finish third. And if we don't finish third, we haven't got European football after Christmas. And we're not going to make much income out of it then. So that's the difficulty. Let's catch up with the chat quickly. Why do teams do that? Send a player out on loan, recall him and send him to another club. That's a good point, whether that should be possible. I don't have a problem with players being recalled if they're needed for the squad. But then to loan them out to a different club immediately within a day, it's very strange. But then I guess a lot of clubs could work that out of the contract if they negotiated better. So you have to say it's a two-sided thing. It's not just the parent club there. And realistically, it's their player. They should be able to do what they want. As Duffy gets the ball into the middle to Mallon. He picks it up in a centre circle to O'Reilly. Time on the ball back to Sporrell. And now he's got an overlap from Mitchell. Can he find him? Mitchell down the line. There he is. 2 in the box. Can we get a goal for Shankland at least? It's in towards him. And he heads over the bar. Another one goes begging for Lawrence Shankland. It's just never going to end this goal drought, is it? As the ball comes in from the corner. Home side getting on the front foot. They head it down. It's going to be 2, is it? It's back to the right side of the box. Into the area. Mitchell challenges. Sporrell hoofs clear. It is a frantic game in both boxes. Neither side really in great form. And we've got strikers who, well, one striker who can't score at the moment. And maybe we should have sold him because since he's signed a new deal, he's only scored 1 goal for this football club in the league or in Europe. And here's Farkas out to the right-hand side. Ball into the box. That'll be 2. Oh, it's turning into a European nightmare here with Dundee United. Really disappointing. Segrist beating at his near post. Another one who signed a new deal and then flattered to deceive. And it looks like it's us or Besiktas. And giving away that 2-goal lead at home to them is going to end up costing us. We've got 25 minutes left, so we might as well make changes. I'm going to replace Stevie Mallon, who's struggling physically, with Ray or Fuchs. I think Ray. I'm going to replace McNulty to save him, because he's the only striker scoring at the minute, with Carlton Morris. And I don't really know with the last one. What do we do? I'm trying to think sensibly, but it's not working. Do you know what? Finley's anxious. So let's bring on Matty Pearson. 2 of the Luton boys that may well feature tonight. Both playing in Europe here with Dundee United. But it's been an absolute horror show. Let's catch up with the chat very quickly. Carl, I used to insults being a Stoke fan. Yeah, money is exactly what caused that deal. You're spot on, Carl. And Charlie, you're probably right as well. Michael O'Neill, a very clever man to spot that. Ravenite, Dundee United's team news. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Kamashin, hello from Croatia. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you joining us. Only 2 players you have starting are starting against St Johnstone. You can probably guess which ones. Am I guessing it's the 2 ends of the pitch, is it? Is it Morris and... not Morris, Shankland and Segrist? Sporrell would be the only other one that's there, isn't he? Out of my starting 11. But of the 3, I would go for Shankland and Segrist. Contract extension for Jordan Clark at Luton. Yeah, he's done very well stepping up. Grimsby first team in England. COVID breaches again. It's becoming a bit of a shambles at Grimsby on and off the pitch, isn't it? Dodgy Gamer, good evening. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate seeing some new faces as well as the regulars. Leon, Josh Sheehan signed a 3-year deal in 2018. Apparently there's something that you can leave for an agreed fee to play at a higher level. Yeah, there's quite a few of them in FM, isn't there? So it wouldn't shock you. Green is Ferenc Varos. It is indeed. I don't know what they're normally playing, other than to say that that was a pathetic performance. And I don't know why I agreed with the assistant, because it wasn't good at all. Oh, there's going to be a very long season here. We got spoilt by finishing 3rd last year, and a few people mentioned it, second season syndrome. We're struggling in 5th in the league. We're absolutely awful in Europe, and it's only really the League Cup that can save us, as we try to defend that after a brilliant success. Not good at all. Really not good. Yeah, they're definitely green, the Hungarian side, according to FM anyway. This is a reeking of second season syndrome. Oh, you've said it. It's right on cue. Right on cue, you've said it. Oh, Gaming, thanks for popping in. What have you missed? An awful performance in Hungary, unfortunately. McNulty's on the bench. So, because Mickey Mellon plays with 1 up front normally, doesn't he? He did at Tranmere anyway. Thank you to everyone popping in well into double figures now. Please do chuck a thumbs up if you haven't already. It does make such a difference to us. And hopefully more and more can find us. We're still picking up a lot of new people. Past 2,100 this week, yesterday as well. So thank you for your support with that. The podcast is nearing 800 too. We're making massive progress. So we can't thank you all for joining us and for giving us your support. And now we've got a trip to Motherwell with a relatively unfit midfield. I'm thinking Logan Chalmers in on a left wing because he's played really well when he's played. But when they start, they just seem to be poor. He's very frustrated. We'll see what happens. But then we've got to bear in mind there's a game every 3 days as well. Stranraer in action there in those Scottish Cup matches. We interviewed one of their former legends, Alan Jenkins. Absolute gentleman, honestly. Craig, thoughts on the local Luton Council and the Dome being rejected? Oh, it's one of those things. It'll only end up being a delay with appeals and that, but it's just so unnecessary. But there we go. I don't think that land has been used since a couple of years after I left school, when it got sold off to the primary school instead, who only used the top half. Loan extensions confirmed for Mengi and Mitchell. Nielsen showing promising progress. So maybe this will be the season, if it is one of those transition years with second season syndrome, where we can get those youngsters in. Maybe that will work out in the end. So we're going to make the opposition instructions. I'm not going to change anyone, I don't think, bar the left winger. Chalmers will come in because he's played well when he started. I'm tempted to drop Shankland out, but how can you do that? He's the best player at the club by a mile. Certainly permanent player anyway. I just don't know. I'm going to stick with it because I don't have a reason to drop people. And as a result, I can't actually do it. L Gaming, I saw the snooker on your Instagram. Yeah, I'm trying to get used to using it as well, just to keep it active. But I love the Master Snooker in the evening in bed. It is an absolute treat. As I've said before, it's one of the only sports my other half likes as well, which makes it a bit easier. Let's get into the Motherwell game then. Hopefully a better performance, but generally we've had European hangovers so far. Leon, love the snooker. The best sport out there on a green surface. After football, I'll agree with you. Neil Ashton, I heard. Yeah, so Charlie interviewed him today. He talked a lot about Wrexham, talked a lot about the playoff days, something that was a theme across his clubs. But yeah, he's a really good player, really good pro. Charlie spoke to him in quite a lot of detail and seemed to go really well. So we're looking forward to sharing that one. Only our second one from Welsh football, but obviously he's played for a lot of VFL clubs that we haven't covered before. So that'll be really nice for us as well. As Malin puts the corner in swinger, Carson gets there comfortably. Not been the worst start in the world, but we don't look like scoring, and that's the problem at the minute. Tom, away shirt, yes it is. It's the first day in the house that's cold enough for, warm enough, sorry, that I don't need to have a jumper on over it as well. Yeah, Zeno, spot on. Yeah, with the food parcels, there's no way there's more than a tenner's worth of food in any of them. Yeah, but I don't want to get political on here, but I'm not surprised, given the industry I work in and the things that you're dealing with. As McNulty's in, we take the lead. Finally, some positive news. It's not Shankland, unfortunately, but it is a goal. That's something. El Gaming, the problem with it was that they were charging 30 quid to the taxpayer, and it was about a tenner's worth of food at most. Ravenite, forgot to say more United news. Paul McMullen signed a pre-contract with Dundee. And Mickey Mellon says he won't play for United again this season. Well, he's always been that type of manager as Mickey Mellon, but I kind of agree with him. He's done a me and Logan Chalmers in the head coach. Elgan, when's the interview coming out? Probably be a couple of weeks' time. The next one out is Matthew Tipton, who is the Portadown manager. He's ironically a Bangor City fan and grew up near there, but he played for loads of EFL clubs. Bury, Oldham, Macclesfield. Played under Neil Warnock, played under Paul Ince, so that's an interesting one for sure. And now he's a manager himself, of course. We're going to tell the lads to keep it going. We're going to drop to balance, because stats-wise we're getting outplayed. And hopefully we'll hang on. Zeno, what do you work as? I manage a GP surgery, so it's been a fun year. Craig, thoughts on supermarkets? I haven't touched a large one since the pandemic started. I go to the local Little Iceland and the corner shop and the co-op, and if I can't deal with it between the three, lost me monetisation there, but if I can't do it between the three or online shopping, it doesn't get done and it's not worth eating. Simple as that. Because I've seen, I've got to say, Craig, I did have to pop into your Sainsbury's when I went to the Luton game last month, the one that we went back for. Brilliantly managed. But the local one up here, the Asda, is not good. The food parcel was like a banana, a yoghurt fruit. Yeah, it wasn't a meal. It was, well, there was one that was half a loaf of bread and cheese, wasn't it? And they just went, go for it. Thank you to everyone joining as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up if you haven't yet. It does make such a difference. I didn't know that. You look too young to be one. You look about 23. Well, thankfully, because I sit further away from the camera, you can't see the hair going grey gradually. So 27 now, unfortunately. Coming on 28 soon. But the grey hair would give it away if you were closer to me. But started as an apprentice, work your way up. Anything's possible. Andrew, thank you for popping in. Kick off in 40 minutes for you guys. I would support you this evening, but my club Luton are kicking off at 7 as well. So I've got an hour and 8 minutes to kick off. But both teams in action this evening. And obviously I've got a fair bit of Luton squad in this team. Let's make some changes for physical reasons. So Bolton will come on in midfield, as will Fuchs this time. Mallon will swap to the playmaker. Although he's not had the best game, so I could take him off as well. Oh, I don't know what to do with Shankland. I honestly don't. Mitchell's complacent, so Leif Davis on for him. But if Shankland can just nick a tap in from somewhere, it will change our season. Carl, you got the delivery savers. See, that's they used to be our supermarket growing up, but not so much now. Our favourite online since the pandemic's been Morrison's. They've been brilliant with us. Not many changes. It's been quite consistent, and they've generally managed their products pretty well. So online, that's been our best one, and probably our cheapest as well. As Mallon puts the corner in, all I need is to make this day perfect is a Shankland tap-in. As Chalmers over, he must be offside. He is, and it's saved anyway. Still couldn't put it in. I'll come back to the chat in a minute, but I think we might need to do some time wasting in a second. So I'm not going to do anything just yet, as we have got 3 minutes of stoppage time. Look at the stats. 41% possession, a third of the amount of shots on target, a fifth of the amount of shots generally. But a 1-0 win on the road could be exactly what we need. So we're going to be more disciplined. We're going to slow it down, regroup when we lose it, drop that line of engagement, and just try and hang on. That's basically the game plan here. And I think we've just about done it. A crucial 1-0 win against the side directly above us. An absolutely crucial result. Still no vintage performances. Still no ruthlessness in front of goal. And still no Lawrence Shankland goal. But we stay in 5th place. We get within 2 points of Motherwell, sorry. And we're only 4 points off the top after all of that. Celtic and Rangers both dropped 9 points. So despite the European disaster, it's not going too badly defensively. I didn't realise Jordan Houghton played for them as well. One of our midfielders last year. Interesting. So Herman Ariderson side defeated by us. And Aberdeen in 3 days' time. And this is where the fitness issues start to come. Any predictions for the football tonight, Leon? So we've done the championship ones on the podcast. I've got to remember what I went for. I think I went for 2-1 Luton against QPR. And for Bournemouth Millwall, I think I went 2-0. But Craig will correct me if I didn't. El Gaming went for all home wins as well as me and you, Craig. And the Brentford game, as I predicted in the episode, has been called off now. Ravenite, I'm not too bad in that respect. I have an Iceland and Morrison's walking distance. Yeah, I mean, I won't go into a big supermarket now. I'll just go in the little ones. Tom, I haven't got one of them near me, so I can't do that. Andrew, you're going for 1-0 Luton and 1-0 Dundee United. I don't think Luton will win 1-0, unfortunately. Can't see us keeping a clean sheet today. Yeah, El Gaming, as Craig mentions, the Brentford one's now off tomorrow. We sort of speculated it would happen. Burnley, Sheffield United and Wolves. I'd go Man United and Everton. Man United draw and Everton, funnily enough. Yeah, Craig, we mentioned that a few minutes ago, Jackson Irving to Hibs. I tried to sign him at the start of this save and he wanted £7,000 a week, so I couldn't get him. So after facing the side above us, we've now got the side below us. And I've got to think about the Cup semi-final against third place Hamilton. If there's ever a game for Lawrence Shankland to end his goal drought, that would be the one. Hopefully he can bag himself a couple there. Ravenite, I'm hoping for a win, not least because we're paying tribute to legend Jim McLean. Yeah, I saw he passed away. It's sad news, that. Charlie L Gaming. Oh, yeah, we've been talking about that, Charlie, above. We were talking about that interview. You love playing for Dean Saunders. You didn't mention that bit to me, did you? Yeah, Doncaster legend as well. Yeah, Craig, I did get my predictions right. Thank you to everyone popping in. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does help people find us, helps us view higher in the big algorithm of YouTube. So I do appreciate all of your support with it. Consistently in double figures for views throughout all the streams is remarkable at this stage. Let's look at that. Ayr United 4-0 again. They're having a great time in this league. 13 points. Dunfermline have fallen behind on 4. So at worst, you'd think they're going to be in a playoff this year. It's Rangers v Celtic tonight. And it's us away at Aberdeen. And I've got to look after some of those fitness concerns with the weekend coming up. The heavy match legs again. Oh, it's so hard to manage, isn't it? Or do I rest everyone in the Europa League match? Because that's the game that we now don't look like getting through in. But the home games there are our bankers. So I feel like this is the game I have to rest people. But the league should still stay the priority in truth. So Chalmers is fine. He's not played that many. Duffy's got a high injury risk. As has Mallon. As has O'Reilly. As has Shankland. As has McNulty. It doesn't look great, does it? If we're being honest. I'm going to leave it for this game. We'll do it in a future one. Chalmers will stay in on the left because he contributed to a win. Unchanged team for Aberdeen v Dundee United. Let's just try and build momentum. And we can work on the clever stuff and the rotation as we need to. At the moment, we don't need to do it, so let's not. George Moncur in the number 10 for Aberdeen. Loads of Luton players out in this pitch. And the corners clears to Mark McNulty. What can he do with it? He's coming forward. He's completely unopposed here. Into the box. Hits the side netting. Was almost worth a go there. Craig Power cutter Harrogate v Carlisle. Is that again? Because that game got abandoned, didn't it? That's the one that started in the snow. And Reece Bennett was having a laugh on Twitter about it. Rangers have taken the lead against Celtic. We're still clinging on for 0-0 here. But Aberdeen will have a threat soon. Yeah, you're talking about Neil Ashton. It was a good Wrexham side, that. Leon Dean Saunders, on his first day at training for Doncaster, he gave a plasma TV to the man of the match in a training game. But you've got to love little things like that. Like some of the ones that Matthew Tipton said about Neil Warnock and things like that. There were some great ones in the Alan Jenkins interview with Gretna. It was absolutely brilliant. As Michael Duffy has scored a screamer. Not an Aaron Shankland goal, but an assist and a good bit of play, which may help. The only other the only other former Wrexham player we've interviewed is Neil Wainwright. Now, I don't think he played many games for you, but he burst on the scene as a wonder kid for you in the 90s at 16. He played 11 games, scored 3 goals, scored on his debut, and then went to Sunderland for $100,000. But he's the only other former Wrexham player I think we've interviewed. Dean Saunders brought in players like David Cottrell, John Lundstrom, Rob Jones, Jamie McCoon, Paul Quinn. Helped him get out of that league, yeah. I always thought he did a decent job. It's just such a shame that when he started doing punditry, he talked such nonsense. Because otherwise he would have been very well respected, I think. But fans judge a lot on your punditry, don't they? Which is why Gary Neville's so respected, despite how he did in management. Albeit in a unique situation. Oh, Cosgrove nearly scored a screamer there. Rattles the woodwork. It was a brilliant effort. And it's still Aberdeen coming forward. Throw on the left from Kennedy. Takes it to Campbell. Time on the ball back to Beja. Edge of the box to Kennedy again. Don't let him shoot. Back to Coots. It's a good squad technically they've got here. But Duffy wins it back. Mallon goes long. McNulty's up. Flicks on. Shankland's never getting there. And to be honest, he wasn't showing the intent to either. He's had a good game on the ball, but just doesn't want to score. He's not got that confidence. As Mitchell picks it up at the back again. Refreshed from signing for the rest of the season. Back to Chalmers. To Mitchell. And I think I've decided as this game's going on, we're prioritising the league. Getting to the European group stages was a little treat this year, as Duffy nearly scores again. But what we've got to do is sustain success and make sure we're in that top 5 to do it again. As Matheson throws in, Coots nicks it off him. Kennedy's got the ball again. Long downfield, which Mengi heads away to O'Reilly. And he's got 2 up with him. Stead goes sideways to Chalmers. O'Reilly up to McNulty. Let's get Shankland in. Get him that goal. O'Reilly down the left, he's giving it away. But Finley wins the header and Mitchell can bring it away. It's just not happening, is it? We've not got that ruthless edge. We used to get in 5-10 times a game last season. And we'd guarantee taking 2 or 3 of them. As Shankland's dropped deep yet again. O'Reilly finds Matheson. And Shankland, the poacher, not even getting in the box yet. He finally does. Mallon back to him again. Into O'Reilly. And it's 2-0. Another goal from midfield, which we're becoming increasingly reliant on. But at the moment, we don't care how they come. We just want to make sure they turn up. Craig, team news, please. Let me have a look at that. Let me catch up with the chat as well. Did he play for us in the year we went to the final v Newport? I believe he did. Ravenite, I have a United save. I don't want to say for fun. I went to sign Max Aarons for 40 million. Oh, that works a treat. 4 million to Luton Town, that is. I'm hoping Barcelona sign him for 50 in real life. And if they could take James Justin for 60 or 70 on the other side, that'll pay for half the stadium for us. As O'Reilly picks it up in the middle. Chips over to McNulty. He's got him behind here. I think he's off. He is. It's disallowed. But that's the first time we started to look ruthless on the break again. Right, so Luton team. Sluga, Potts, Bradley, Lockyer, Bree, Ray, Ruddock, Dewsbury Hall. So Bree's right back, Potts left back. Cornick, Collins, Loire. That makes sense for Loire not playing at the weekend. But that's 8 changes from the FA Cup tie. And I've got to mention that thing about the Reading Academy, where they put out a tweet saying about how their squad that finished the game was under 23 in comparison to the team that started Luton's game. But they went quiet when a lot of Luton fans, including myself, asked for a comparative value. So we're talking about it like it was their brilliant academy lads fighting hard. It was 12.5 million worth of talent on the pitch. It's hardly their homegrown produced academy. It was players they'd nicked off other lower EFL clubs at 7E and are kept in their under 23s. And they've spent 12.5 million on that. Luton's whole lineup, which included their record signing keeper coming back from injury, was just over like $1.5 million. Very bizarre. But there we go. It is what it is. There's a lot of official club medias have turned into clickbait now, haven't they? Which, I mean, I know the Leeds example's there, but as much as they're getting all the criticism for it, they're by far not the only ones that have done that. As McCrory picks it up on the right, over the top towards Cosgrove. The last thing we want to do is give them a route in, and that's exactly what we are going to do here. Campbell puts the ball in the back of the net, 20 to go. And once it ticks over, we'll make the changes. But again, and this is where the problems come in this season. Last year, the game changers we were bringing on were players who were coming on for players that weren't playing well. This season, I'm having to do it on fitness only, which is harder. Casual save was the term you're looking for. Mine's Crystal Palace. Because I kept seeing them getting relegated in all of the saves that I'm doing. They've got nearly half the squad out injured, which, by the way, Roy Hodgson has not complained once about this season. And he continues to do wonders with them. So I've given that one a go. Leon, you've seen this week, El Hadji came out and said Carragher wouldn't have been a footballer if he wasn't a Scouser. Why anyone puts a camera in front of that man, I'd never know. He's an interesting character, and he had a great spell at Bolton for a little while, so respect for that. But yeah, it's an interesting character. Bench includes Berry, Monka. I'm a bit surprised Berry's not starting, to be honest, but I do start to worry about a bit of the depth on that bench, Craig. Now I can see there being 1 or 2. Charlie, best striker you've ever had in FM. I'm tempted to say Carlton Morris because of that moment in the head coach. In terms of regens, I think I've said it before, it'd be 1 of 2. Either... In fact, I've got 3 names. So, Conor Crawford last year's game with Cliftonville was stunning. Really enjoyed it, but he wasn't an academy player. We signed him at 17, like we mentioned with Reading, which is a shame. So I had a player in FM17 or 18 off camera with a one club York. Came through in League 2, he won the Ballon d'Or, played at the top level, scored nearly a goal a game. Scored like 360 goals. Broke the Premier League scoring record, everything. Brilliant player. We had, and in a San Marino challenge back in FM14, I think, I had a player, might have been 15, had a player called Giacomo Bianchi. Wasn't the best technically, but he made such an impact on the club side and the national team side. And always scored big goals. Scored the goal that got us to the Euros in 2040 or whatever. So yeah, he would be my other one. If you guys ever need someone to interview, try and get some Wrexham or former Wrexham players. Absolutely. I mean, the more the merrier as far as we're concerned. We've already got 5 or 6 lined up, which has been brilliant. So we've been trying to get players from leagues that are suspended at the minute. So we've got another 1 or 2 Welsh ones lined up. 1 or 2 from Northern Ireland. But it's been really good interviewing loads of different pros, I've got to say. So I'm going to leave Chalmers on because he's the one who I think we can then rest at the weekend for the cup game. I'll replace Duffy with Bolton. I'll replace O'Reilly with Fuchs. And Shankland's on a yellow, so I'll take him off for Carlton Morris. They're the 3 changes made. 20 minutes to go. Can we hold on is the big question. I'm going to drop to balanced as well because Aberdeen keep coming forward. We'll just see out this highlight first with Moncur. Chalmers blocks it. Don't know why he's turned back there. Finds Tyrick Mitchell. Back to his keeper. Dodgy position. Siegrist clears. McNulty flicks on. Here's Carlton Morris. Forced backwards. Good target man play that. And back to Mengi in his own half. To Matheson. We have got a slightly younger back 4 as well. We've got to consider that. As it comes out to Bolton on the right wing. Matheson's overlapping. There's 2 in the middle. Morris doesn't get there. McNulty falls for it though. And he's just foxing the box. Poaching wherever need be. And it's 3-1. Mark McNulty's in form. And thank God for that. Because Shankland has looked nowhere near it. So hopefully it stays that way. Apologies as my camera's gone blurry again. Not a bad thing given my Christmas diet. But I'll try and resolve it with the old classic trick. And see if it works. That one's made it worse. So the old trick to cant in front and see what happens afterwards, isn't it? So that's a little bit better. We're getting there slowly but surely. Oh dear. It's 3-2. Oh, it's disallowed. We'll take that every day of the week. Fantastic news that. I'm just getting confirmation of the Luton lineup on there. Just to check Craig wasn't trying to con me. Wouldn't be a first, would it? 5 minutes to go though. It's all looking good. So how are we getting on? Why is anyone talking to Juve? That's a fairly good question. I'll give you that. I've gone blurry again, so bear with me a minute. I'll just disappear briefly. You can have a close-up of my hand instead waving at you. It's not resolving itself tonight, unfortunately, so it looks like you're just getting blurry me. L Gaming, I signed this striker in my 2nd season daily. He scored 2 in his first game. I always find that with strikers, though. They start really well and then gradually just sort of disintegrate in form as you go along. For the ones that are sort of average level rather than brilliant. Carl, 2 throw-in goals for Kaiserslautern. Yeah, you're loving that there, aren't you? Macca, good evening. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate the regulars joining in as always. We're 1 thumbs up away from double figures, so if you haven't yet, please do chuck one on it. It does make such a difference. And thank you for your continued support as we get another away win in the SPL. So now, if we can sort out the European form and sneak through into the Europa Conference latter stages, if we can get players back in form, we can bolster the squad in January. It could yet be a very exciting season for us, despite our early negativity there. Let me just catch up with the chat on the phone, because unfortunately, it's a little bit all over the place there. El Gaming, imagine Justin and Aarons for Barca. They need some new blood. Well, Aarons was linked very heavily in the summer. I'm sure Barca will be joining along not after for the James Justin show, because he's probably the best fullback in the Premier League on current form. Yeah, Charlie, Neil Ashton played in all 3 of the playoff finals at Wembley. He played every game when Wrexham finished 2nd with 98 points and then lost out in the playoffs. You've got to feel hard done by if you're 2nd on 98. It's like that Liverpool thing a few years ago, isn't it? Obviously, they recovered it since. Charlie Austin starts for QPR. Good to see him back there. But for Luton's sake, they're one of the sides I was banking on finishing below us. So, it does worry me a bit. Yeah, it was when Luton were in the conference, wasn't it? That Wrexham had their good spell. Or around that time, anyway. Anything is possible with Barca. So they signed Martin Braithwaite after all. Yeah, well, they've been heavily linked with Aarons, and he is one of the best young rated fullbacks in the world, so it wouldn't shock me. It's just a shame we've only got a 10% clause on it. Because otherwise, he could have been a right bet for us. Thank you to everyone joining in as well. Do appreciate you going there. Yeah, Craig's put in a good point. Real Madrid signed Forbear as well. Wrexham are isolating for a while. Craig, you've tricked me with lineups before. You know that. And your little shout of goal in the WhatsApp group when there's no goal. That striker was in League One. Yeah, there's some... It's always good to make realistic progress in these saves rather than trying to do it the easy way as such. There's a reserves game tomorrow, so I'm going to put the youngsters in there because I don't want them to go too long without football. And realistically, they're not going to be first on the team sheet for a cup semi-final. We'll put Carlton Morris in there for a bit of experience with them. And we'll leave it at that because the rest will probably be involved in the squad. I've gone blurry again, so let me give it one more go. Little bit better. Craig, that's Charlie. I think that's both of you, isn't it? Oh, the grown-up one of the three. Oh, good to see Duncanson back. He's the one who came for our youth intake in April. And then he broke his leg. But his attitude's decreased since then. His fitness has decreased. His bravery's gone down. And so has his potential ability, which is such a shame. So it looks like we're relying on Finn Malcolm after all. Mockery's trained well. They're in that mentoring group now, don't forget. So hopefully that will start to have an effect on them. If we look at Mockery, his training rating's above a 9, which is a good sign. Nielsen is 8.95. Fotheringham, 7.35. That's a bit of a shame. And Finn Malcolm, 8.4, yeah. So they're getting there. It's just the personality side that's got to improve. If they get there mentally as pros, they'll get there technically afterwards as well. Andy, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you coming along. Do appreciate your support. Just joined the stream. How are we? I'm not too bad. I hope you're all well as well. We're trying to hastily get finished for 7 o'clock for the Luton QPR match. So hopefully we'll be done on time for that. But we've got 2 more games today. It's going pretty disastrously in Europe and pretty well in the SPL now. But we've got the big game at the weekend. And that one is Hamilton, who are third in the Premiership at the minute. We've got them in the League Cup semi-final. Thank you for the extra thumbs up as well. Into double figures now, as well as the views. Do appreciate it. I haven't cheated in FM saves. I do them similar to yours. Yeah, that's the best way. But that's what I mean, because you're still in League One with Wrexham, whereas some of the bigger YouTubers are already winning the Champions League with their teams. I mean, I guess we've had a meteoric rise in the head coach, haven't we? Which we wouldn't normally have. But otherwise, there's not a huge amount that you can do. I always prefer not using the player search screen, because that's the bit that makes it the easiest, I feel. As I've gone very blurry now. I don't know what's happening this evening. You can have my face and my hands instead. Let's give the camera a little juggle. See if we can get something out of it. This is the problem with cheap technology. When it goes wrong, it doesn't work very well at all. And just on the day I've shown off my Luton shirt as well. That's the day it's decided to go for it. Carl, did you know professional footballers get fined £10 a yellow card, same as Sunday League? I did. We used to, when our podcast was in its infancy and not very good, we used to do a silly series called Guess the Fine, where we went through all the leagues and some of the more unique fines each of them had. And me and Charlie used to guess them and get more and more angry as Craig announced what the actual fees were. Because you'd have things like, for example, forgetting the match ball was £2. And then something petty that had no impact on the game was like 50 quid. And it used to drive us absolutely nuts. So, yeah, it wasn't our best content in terms of quality, but it was one of my favourite series because it used to drive us mad. If it was on video, it would have been even funnier, but we hadn't quite worked it out at that stage. I've come back to a full view with no blur whatsoever, so something's changed there. Jack, looking forward to playing Luton in the FA Cup. At least you're likely to get decent TV money. Oh, such a shame. I said this earlier in the stream. We've drawn United and Chelsea in the 2 cups the season that we've not been able to go to games. I guess we've had a few big ones recently. We had Norwich when we were in the non-league. We had Newcastle a couple of years back. But I think we'll give Chelsea a run if Nathan Jones takes it seriously. The problem is I think he'll rotate like he did last time. Yeah, the fines for yellow and red cards, they're the same across the board. Oh, Craig's it gone up to 12 this season, has it? No shock there. Yeah, L Gaming. I see these comments on your podcast from certain fans after losing or sackings. I see one in the predictions. The thing is, the reason our podcast has that is because we work very hard not to be the clickbait media type. So we do a balanced argument. The same with the managerial things. We'll raise points that could be the positives or the negatives. We're not saying they're happening, but we have to have a balanced discussion. We can't just say, oh, we love, let's say, Steve Cottrell, so he's going to be brilliant. We've got to discuss what could go wrong as well and the potential pitfalls. But some fans obviously see that as us criticising the club, which we're not. We're just having a solid argument. And because a lot are used to watching TalkSport and the likes, that's how they then respond, which... And let's be fair, it's a very small minority. There's normally 1 comment per episode, I'd say, for the manager specials. And there's normally 10 or 15 that are extremely positive and very fair. So I've got no problem with that because it's only the odd one. And they stand out like a sore thumb because we're a bit bigger now. But it is hard because a lot of small podcasts judge themselves on that. And then they become that sort of clickbait media instead. But I can see why, because we've grown slower for the fact we haven't done that. Right, for the lineup today, I'm bringing in Sporrell on the left wing because he's slightly more defensive option. I think aside from that, I'm going to keep it the same because we're building a little bit of momentum now. And if I have to rest everyone in Europe, I'll give that up because we've had our bonus of getting there this year. Ravenite, the only cheating I've done is use the editor to fix United's home goalkeeper kit because it should be sky blue. I think you can get away with that one. The goalkeeper kits are always bizarre colours in this game, actually. It's something I've never really talked about before, but I've noticed it quite a few times. Luton have the same issue. Theirs is sky blue too, in normal circumstances. I've had to take him off already, Sporrell. 5 minutes in, and he's got a hamstring tweak. Didn't warm up properly, so Chalmers is back on the left wing. As Minor finds right, into the box, Mitchell clears away, McNulty counters. Is this the moment? It's a 2-on-1. Shankland's the other man up with him. McNulty goes into the box. He's going to go alone though. And it's straight at O'Malley who saves. Oh, it's a balanced mentality, or it's a positive one for now. They're playing a narrow diamond. Something we've set up with at Hibs, so it'll be interesting to see how it works here and there. And here's Chalmers, the early sub. Out to the left-hand side to Tyrick Mitchell. Time on the ball, gets to the byline, cuts it into the box. Duffy's there. Oh, he's put it wide. You're kidding me. He had to score that. Early dominance, no goal again. And where's Lawrence Shankland with that goal? Makes it harder to lads to play in short change. I've seen another one on the Watford one most recently, but yeah, it's a minority. Yeah, but to be fair, the one who criticised us on the Watford episode was largely just because we were Luton fans, or 2 of us were. But we gave a balanced and fair argument, as we would for any other club. I mean, we talked about a lot of the negatives when we did the Luton ones during the lockdown earlier in the year. You know, it's not like we're being biased or anything. But again, most of the Watford fans were very fair there. Even knowing we were Luton fans, they were still fair to us. So it's not worth focusing on the one. We give them a professional, sensible response, and then we ignore them if they go off after that. As Winter gets it on the right. I'd rather focus on the majority of fans who are sensible and just want to talk about and listen to their stuff about their club, you know? As McNulty gets it to Chalmers on the left. McNulty's running back through. Oh, he's released him too late. I think he's offside. Or did the left back play him on? It looks like he did. McNulty's forced to save, which is behind for a corner. And hopefully we'll be alright. Craig, does anyone feel sorry for Sheffield United? I did until today. When Wilder said we were keeping Norton Davis for the season. Then he's brought him back and sent him to another championship club. Same with York and Chester fans. Yeah, but as I said to you before, it's not which club the fans are from. It's not that. It's the it's the minority from every club is the same, unfortunately. But most fans at most clubs are just normal people like us. Now, more concerningly, we have dominated this game. And we have not yet got anything to show for it. And if Hamilton nick one with their first shot on target, I'll be furious. We've got good players on loan, the likes of Omatoy. And here they are with the corner. Warner heads just wide. I'm going to have to make changes again. And it's going to have to be Shankland because he's not scoring and he's not looking like it. Tyreek Mitchell is struggling physically and he's on a yellow. So Davis will come on for him. And that only actually leaves us with one sub. And then it's, do I bring on my famous channel hero, Carlton Morris, who's nervous? Do I take off O'Reilly, who's playing poorer? No, I'm doing it. Carlton Morris for Shankland. Morris is the man on this channel. He's done it in one cup game before, and I'm sure he'll do it again. Let's see if he can. 10 minutes remaining. We've got a throw on the right with Matheson. Back to O'Reilly. Time in the middle. Finds Mallon. Over the top towards McNulty. It's headed back to the keeper. Excellent defending, that is. And here is O'Malley in goal. We're going to try and fire the lads up. As the goal kick goes straight through everyone. Dre Wright runs into Winter. Wright's run off him again. We're going to lose it. First shot on target we've conceded. That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. We're going to go attacking. We have to. But that... Oh, you couldn't write it, could you? Duffy gets the ball on the right-hand side. He's got an overlap, but instead tries to cross it from a silly angle, and it's back to Mallon. Into Matheson on the right back wing. He finds Duffy, plays a 1-2, into McNulty, 1-1, just like that. Mark McNulty delivers the goal. Matheson with a brilliant cross in. And why, suddenly when we go one down, can we then get the goal? It's infuriating. And we've got a corner to defend now. 86 on the clock. Into the front post. Finley heads away. Trafford picks it up. They're on the front foot here, Hamilton. After playing defensive for so long, they've got onto it. Winters put it in. That was definitely offside. Surely. 13th of the season for Winter. They've had 2 shots on target, Hamilton, and scored 2 goals. I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. Hamilton Academical, a smash and grab. And we are not going to defend the Scottish League Cup. Disgraceful from Sporrell to not warm up properly. And I'm pretty sure the goal was offside, was it? There's no mention of it, to be fair. Andrew Winter, he's some striker actually at 19. He's a good youngster at Hamilton. They're in real life. He's someone I'd definitely be looking at. The scouts already have. It's just that he's worth too much money. But there you go. One less competition to worry about. So at least that's one less game we've got to play. But it would have been a cup final. I wonder who got to the final. Celtics against them. It's just inconsistency. 2 good away wins in the league. An awful performance in the Europa League. And an awful performance in the cup. Let me catch up with the chat quickly because I'm aware I didn't really look at it at the end of that game. York played the promotion game against Luton in the first lockdown. Embarrassing considering where they are. It's an interesting story, that one, over 10 years. Grassroots coach, thank you for popping in. I don't feel sorry for Sheffield United because with the Prem TV money, they've recruited horribly. Well, they've recruited sort of safely, haven't they? They've not spent a huge amount of the money. And Wilder, with the worst squad in the league, is bottom. You can't really be shocked by that. What he's suffering for, Wilder, is the remarkable job he did last year. So Ryan Gould is being recommended as our top target. Of course, a former youth player here. But I doubt we'll be able to get him. Not within budget, anyway. You missed Reece Norton-Davis already. To be fair, Potts had started most of the last 5 or 6 games anyway. Most fans at most clubs are normal, exactly. And that's the thing to remember. They should have been more patient and waited for opportunities. It's easy to say, but if you lose Dean Henderson, you've got to replace him. They needed a striker. It's just the way it's gone. Aaron Ramsdale's a bad signing. Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair. But throwing him in first season after a relegation and saying be our Dean Henderson is very difficult. They should have asked United for Romero instead. Or tried to sign Martinez for the same price, which Villa did. Absolutely, a percentage of every club's fan base is terrible. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Palmer spent a lot of money this summer, and it's not gone well, has it? Well, the problem is with the Ramsdale signing and that is they're looking to fill the same number of homegrown quotas in the squad. I know Sheffield United haven't got to worry about that, but he's probably looking at future signings and thinking, I might need to nick a striker from Europe or a midfielder from somewhere. But the keeper's a way to keep that easily in the homegrown quota. Well, that's the point, isn't it? Ramsdale wasn't convincing for Bournemouth last year. I actually think the one that's come in this year, can't remember what his name was. It's Travis something. He's actually the better keeper of the two. So Ryan Gould, we keep getting linked with, but I don't think we'll be able to sign him. We'll keep trying. Darren Watson was third in the Player of the Month award again. And we're just keeping our eyes peeled on what's going on here. We've got one more game this evening, so we're definitely going to get finished before the Luton game. Gives me 15 minutes to make myself dinner as well. Oh yeah, Henderson was very good. He's better than De Gea, I agree. But why didn't they just ask for Romero on loan instead? Maybe Wilder doesn't have a clue about foreign leagues. Well, it's more that they don't probably have the scouting infrastructure that other clubs do. Yeah, I agree. They should have done that with Henderson, actually. Hamilton double. What a joke. 2 strikes, 2 goals. Typical FM. Rafi, thanks for popping in this evening. To be fair, we've done it plenty of times last season with this side, so we can't complain. It was a classic smash and grab. But the final game of the evening is a must-win game in the Europa League, in theory. But we've not won any of them so far. We blew a 2-goal lead against Besiktas. There you go. Fun fact about Andrew Winter, his dad used to be an SPFL referee. I think I knew that, and I don't know why. It's the same as watching the snooker today. The referee is one of the players' wives, and she can't referee his games. What happened to Reece Norton-Davis? He got recalled by Sheffield United from Luton today, and then sent to Stoke within an hour. Hindsight is such a lovely thing. It absolutely is. Travers at Bournemouth just been sent out on loan. He's a good keeper though. He really is. Scotland are leaving Shankland out, and I'm not surprised based on his performances. Chalmers has picked up a muscle strain, probably from playing 85 minutes when we wanted to rest him. Yeah, every football club has flops occasionally. And to be fair, we say about Ramsdale, at this stage last season, we thought Sluga, our record signing, was going to be the biggest flop of all time. And he's now a cult hero and has been absolutely brilliant for the last year. So he might just need time to settle in, but in the Premier League you don't get that, do you? No sympathy for Premier League money. I have an extent of it. Ravenite, I'd love Ryan Gould to return, in real life as well as here. Well, here's probably more likely, I would suggest, but we'll have a go every window, because he's been highlighted by our scouts, and he'd be our best midfielder, so I'd certainly do it. I think actually if we could get him, either this window or the summer, in January or the summer, I think we could then go to a midfield 3. Right, Tedamengi's tired. Do you know what? I think we're going to give it away. We're going to gamble on it. It's going to make no difference. A Hamilton top of the SPL. They've overtaken Celtic and Rangers. They drew in their Old Firm match. Wow. Right, let me pick a lineup for this. Siegrist is not going to be affected by playing. Otherwise, I'm going to go back up 11. Full back up 11. Because everyone's risk of injury is high. So, Leif Davis in. Right back, we'll come back to in a minute. We always get stuck on that one. Pearson and Nielsen, the youngster. Reynolds wants to go, so we'll let him go in January. Or we might go Reynolds and Nielsen right back. We'll see as we go along. Up front, I'm going to go Morris and Malcolm. Don't know which way round they prefer to be. I always forget. That way's better. I'm not so worried about Fotheringham because his potential is lower. But I would like to get all of them in, ideally. Sporrell only played 5 minutes at the weekend, so he can play today. On the right wing, we'll have Bolton. We'll have Fuchs at right back as normal then. And we'll have Ray in the middle alongside Mockery. And Fotheringham can be the substitute. Sub-striker will be... We're going to go for McNulty because he's scoring goals and he's the fitter of the two. We'll get Duffy in as the sub-winger from the senior pros. Mallon and O'Reilly, one of them will be on the bench as well. We'll go for Mallon because his injury risk is lower. And then at the back, Reynolds a sub. I think then it'll be the two fullbacks, won't it? Mitchell and Matheson. Into the game we go, fully rotated side. 9 changes from the last match. Only Sporrell, who played 5 minutes, and the keeper keep their place. Final game of the evening. Let's hope it goes a bit better. Thank you for everyone watching in as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. Last game before we sign off. I know Dundee United are kicking off now, so I'm sure I'll lose a couple. And Luton kick off at 7 o'clock as well. Sheffield United can ask you about Serie A players. Nanana, thank you for popping in. Good evening. Nice to have you along. What happened to the Wrexham save guy? You never know. Probably just work, college, uni, whatever it could be. No one can make every stream. What was the point of that from Sheffield United? Well, that's the question. Rafi, greetings from Poland. Another new country. Thank you for popping in. Good luck with this one against the Hungarians. Well, it's a backup side, so I'm not expecting much. But our first team lost heavily away, so why not try something new? Let's just see how it goes, shall we? I know about Sluga because he played for Rijeka of the AC Milan in Europa League and was shocked he signed for Luton. No, he's playing for Croatia. We're a bit shocked as well. He was awful the first few months, but he didn't know the language, probably wasn't settled, and the mistake was probably the manager at the time putting him straight in. But he was a rookie manager, which is why he probably did it. But he's been a class act since lockdown. I think he's just... Both of our keepers have had had their first child in the last week or two. Or I think it might be Shay's second. But both of them are child in the last week. Ravenite, we've been rumoured to bring him back on loan a couple of times. I might try a loan deal, actually. That's a good idea for January. Rangers running away with it. I can see Gerrard at Liverpool in the future. I think he'll be their next manager. And he'll stay at Rangers until then. Right, we have been completely outclassed, but it's still 0-0. The stats do not lie. It's been an atrocious performance. But if we can draw 0-0, it's not the worst in the world, as Davis delivers to Sporrell. And don't forget, in the Europa League groups, every draw and win you get prize money for. But the ball's over the top. I can't see us hanging on here, as Foot gives it to Pearson, to Nielsen, into Mockery. Back into Pearson again, chips downfield, Morris flicks on, Finn Malcolm gets there, the youngster. And he gives it back to Mockery again. Over to Malcolm. The two youngsters combine. And Finn Malcolm has put us ahead. Mockery with the assist. Malcolm with the goal. The 18 and 19-year-old do the trick. And that is absolutely beautiful. We'll take it. Craig, will there be a live stream? Is Chelsea v Luton's on TV? I'm thinking about it. I might just do one on my phone like a Q&A. Let me know if you want to see it. I guess it depends when it's on and how many other games are with big teams. I was watching Serie C the other night. Foggia v Juve Stabia is a hotbed of talent. Well, I used to know it quite well because we used to do the San Marino challenge. And obviously they were in Serie C or D at the time. So you always got to see plenty of talent down there. But obviously with the club folding over there or being re-merged to somebody else, it's not quite the same now. Which is a shame because I would love to have reborn it on the channel one day. And I might even do that. I had a great one in FM15, so I might just do it again. Many years down the line when I'm big enough to get away with that. But I would love to do it. So it's a long ball downfield. This could be 1-1. Beaten by a goal kick over the top. That is absolutely appalling. And is why we will be out of Europe at Christmas. Because that is not a way you can concede a goal. A goal kick through the two centre-halves and in for 1-0. Oh dear. Stockport held a strong West Ham side off of 83 minutes. Fair play to them. Yeah, they were good. They really were good. Ball into the box. Segrist, what are you doing, son? You lucky, lucky boy. Right, I don't know what to do here. I'm going to bring McNulty on up front for Morris. I'm going to bring Mockery off, who's knackered, for Mallon. And Ray's had a poor game, so Fuchs on for him and Matheson at right back. They're the 3 subs made. Another corner to defend, I believe. But given the match stats there, if we can draw 1-1, it's a miracle, though we're probably going to concede from a set piece as Nielsen heads it away. Back to Kiss and Farkas. Time on the right-hand side of the box, delivers into Nemeth, and right on cue, there's the goal. Why are we so inconsistent this year? I don't understand it. We've got to accept, a bit like when we were at Dundee, it's one of those seasons and we've just got to get through it. Lots of little injuries, lots of fitness problems, not a big enough squad. And we'll rebuild for our second year in Europe. But this quite often happens to teams, doesn't it, when they're in Europe for the first time. As Matheson heads away, we'll go attack him, but I think we're more likely to concede a third here. Dundee United fans will be happy with you after the head coach stuff. Well, I'm in a battle with them for third in the Hibernian save now, or in the head coach. So I could yet be a Dundee hero. But it's been interesting being involved in two different saves in Scotland. And who knows when we picked Dundee for this, when we picked Dundee United for this, when it was voted for the live streams, and when I selected it as an option, who knew the head coach was going to go how it did? We hadn't even been to Scotland since FM18. Grassroots coach, there's a Spezia striker called Nzola who's got 9 goals so far this season. Was playing in Serie C 2 years ago and I thought this guy would never make it in Serie A. Egg on your face. There you go. There's always surprises. But look at how many in England. That's happened loads of times from the lower leagues. I have a feeling you'll be at Wrexham in a save in the future. It might be because I want one, but head coach, well, you never know with the head coach. You can end up anywhere. And in terms of normal traditional head coaches, we've generally started in England. And if you succeed in your first job, you normally get those sort of top National League or lower League 2 jobs. And Wrexham could well be one of those, so you never know. It's just unfortunate that there'll be hundreds of them about on YouTube now because the takeover is going to go through before the January update, I'd imagine. But we lose again, unfortunately. And that is not a good way to end the evening. A really good save would be Treviso. Yeah, they were Serie A before, weren't they? They're in the 6th tier. Jeez. Yeah, there are quite a few Spanish examples. There's a couple in Germany too. But if we have a look at the schedule and the competitions, we are effectively out of Europe. We've got one game against Besiktas, which is the last match day, away from home. And that's the one that could nick us third. I do think it's highly unlikely though. So we'll see how that goes. We're up to 4th in the league, Hamilton are top, but it looks like we're going to be top half, which is good. A terrible defeat in the Cup semi-final. And we've got the Scottish Cup after Christmas. So what we're going to do, if we look at the schedule, I'll find a place for us to next come back. Thank you, L Gaming. Appreciate you popping in. If you haven't yet, do chuck a thumbs up on it. If you've missed any of it, there'll be a full replay afterwards. I think we're going to play the Hamilton and Kilmarnock games off camera. Then we will be back on Sunday. In fact, we'll play Anderlecht off camera as well, because I'm going to play a reserve side. Or should we show that? I think we should. So that's what we'll do. We'll play these two off camera. We'll show Anderlecht, Celtic, Dunfermline, Livingston and Besiktas on Sunday morning. We'll be back at 10:30 on Sunday for that. I hope you'll come and join me if you're able to. Plenty of support this evening, so thank you for all the live chat. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, please do go and check out the head coach as well. A really good episode today. And our first one on camera with our new club Hibernian. Macca, see you later. Thanks for watching. Grassroots coach Swansea for promotion. We'll wait and see. I wouldn't doubt it too much. I think most of us had them up in the playoffs. But thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me this evening. Make sure you all go and support Luton Town this evening. And I'll see you on Sunday morning. Thanks for watching.